Welcome to Team FYSA's group presentation on exploring cybersecurity threats and vulnerabilities from emerging technology, such as cloud, blockchain, and artificial intelligence, by Fidelis Ajali, Divya Singh, Hope Williams, and myself, VIcente Flores. As society advances into the future, new and emerging technology aggressively inches into today's business practices and processes. Currently, cloud, blockchain, and AI are ushering in a new era of technological solutions, changing how public and private organizations operate. Although new technology brings positive advancement in solutions and capabilities, it also introduces new threats and vulnerabilities. Today, we are going to cover the following topics: present and future cybersecurity analysis, threats and vulnerabilities of emerging technology, specifically cloud, blockchain, and AI, and lastly, cybersecurity tools and frameworks. Let's begin with present and future cybersecurity analysis by Divya Singh.
Hi everyone, my name is Divya Singh and I will talk about present and future cybersecurity analysis, evolution of technology and cyber threats in the public and private sectors. As human activity continues to migrate to cyberspace, many services and functions that are vital to individuals, organizations, institutions, and society as a whole have become much more dependent on the cyber world. We have seen great advancements in the field of technology and applications such as virtual and augmented reality, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, DevOps, SaaS, and many more. These are not only used by organizations in their daily processes, but by individuals as well, for example, in the form of a mobile app and many more. However, these advancements in technologies have also resulted in an increased number of cyber threats, cyber incidents, not only domestically, but internationally as well. The fact is that the sophistication of these technologies also result in more sophisticated cyber incidents, cyber attacks. Most organizations, both public and private, have embraced the benefits of advancements of technologies, however, have failed to address the vulnerabilities associated with the advancements. According to reports, the number of cyber insurance claims had nearly doubled, rising from 5,995 to 9,017 from 2016 to 2017. The figures do not indicate the magnitude of threats, but show the pace of occurring threats and incidents. Furthermore, reports also indicate that there were about 53,000 cybersecurity incidents reported in 62 countries between March 2017 and 2018. This time period correlates to the development of technology and increased factors such as including the usage of internet and cybersecurity threats. Over a decade ago, organizations were still coming to terms about how cloud impacts their infrastructure, computing requirements, storage, and thus similar advancements and obstacles remain consistent in the modern day IT. Public and private sectors are seeing a shift in the cyber threats as many new forms of malware, phishing, SQL injections, cross-site scripting, etc. are becoming more common. Hence, I would say gone are the days when a simple firewall could protect an organization against cybercrime. Some of the different kind of cyber threats these days are third-party attacks, nation-state attacks, cyber vandalism. The breach of US Department of Defense in 2018, where 30,000 records of US military and civilian workers were compromised, is a big example. It was through a third-party vulnerability. Also, the hacking of Sony picture computer systems in 2014 is another example of a big cyber attack. What are we doing to fight against these cyber attacks? What are the public and private sectors doing? Many experts think that in order to fight against these threats in both public and private sectors, it is imperative for the government to work together. There is a need for these sectors to share information with each other, to address the cyber threats head on. When working as independent entities, neither public nor private sectors have the whole picture. For example, public sectors have access to more information as compared to the private companies. Public sectors, however, do not have visibility into the various networks that are maintained by organizations. Apart from this, even at individual level, organizations should build their system in a way that they are able to identify the threats at an early stage, even before a cyber attack takes place. They should be more vigilant of cyber crimes and criminal activity so that they can equip themselves and protect themselves against the future attacks. Furthermore, I would say organizations should also implement security measures to protect their systems against internal threat by leveraging two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentications, access control, intrusion detection systems, and audit reviews. Hi everyone, my name is Divya, and I'm going to talk about cloud in this session, one of the emerging technologies, history of cloud computing and cybersecurity and cloud computing. Cloud computing can be defined as the delivery of computing services over the internet, which is referred to as the cloud. These services can be servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, intelligence, and many more. Cloud computing gained its fame for its speed, flexible resources, and economies of scale. History of cloud computing. The concept of cloud computing started with ARPANET in 1969, which is a predecessor of today's internet. This technology sprang off back of mainframe computing and was designed to link computers that were separated by distance for both scientific and military purposes. With the advancement of internet towards the end of 20th century, Salesforce was the first company to come up with the software services over internet, calling them software as a service, SaaS. In the early 2000s, with advancement of web capability, videos, music, multimedia, etc., were being hosted and delivered online. By 2006, people had started talking about the cloud. And by end of 2009, cloud computing became, it started to dominate the startup and enterprise market, thus creating a niche for itself. Today, services like YouTube, Google, Netflix are run using cloud computing. Cybersecurity and cloud computing, how are they related? It is estimated that about 70% of the organizations use cloud at least one time. But with the rise in cybercrimes, organizations cannot risk storing critical data on regular servers and databases. When implementing cloud security, organizations should examine the whole enterprise by analyzing the data being processed and stored. Based on these, custom data governance protocols should be created for all inclusion protection. In spite of this, many experts warn organizations to be cautious when it comes to cloud security. They want the organizations to know who their cloud provider is and their reliability is to ensure there are no unforeseen costs in the future. One of the biggest issues is trusting a third party to protect the databases, servers, data applications, etc. Organizations can minimize their costs, and same can be invested in better implementing cloud-based securities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Fidelis, and I'll be discussing on blockchain and talking about the cybersecurity threats and vulnerabilities concerned around this technology. What is blockchain? Blockchain is the underlying technology behind cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoins, Litecoins, Bitcoin. In the last couple of years, we must have heard about series of people trading on the blockchain system with Bitcoins and OneCoins and Litecoins, people trying to transact from day to day, week after week, and trying to get some money out of it. This is because there's some certain benefits to be getting from the technology. Unlike physical cash and unlike physical currency, digital cash and cryptocurrencies have the challenge around double spending. Double spending is a term that can be referred to as a situation whereby one particular data can be copied across a certain number of variables. However, with the introduction of Bitcoin, the technology allows digital information to be distributed and not copied, which means that an individual's piece of data or an organization's intellectual property can only have one owner. Now, blockchain technology has gained popularity across the industry and is possibly sharing stage with other industry legends such as artificial intelligence, robotics, social media, and even big data itself. The blocks of details or transactions are creating unique timestamps and broadcasters across all available nodes while establishing a sequence with each other. This then creates the chain being referred to today as blockchain. You can also call the term as a network of computing nodes. Now, there have been several benefits of adopting this technology for organizations today, some of which include protecting privacy. Another could be creating of true sharing economy across individuals or across corporations. Also, we have ensuring lasting compensations for value creators and enabling individuals own and monetize their own data. Others include cybersecurity, unified communications, Internet of Things, and even business transformation. Now, the impact of these benefits provides an opportunity for competitive cost time savings by reduced settlement time and also increased transparency for all adapters. The blockchain resolves many ethical issues today and is considered a technologically advanced design which revolutionizes electronic settlement schemes and relies on peer-to-peer validation rather than trust. Therefore, you can say that its transformational framework could streamline the business process of institutions or adopters today through peer-to-peer transactions. Now I'm going to talk about the potential impact on organizations. So, as with most new technologies today, we have a challenge of delay in technology adoption. This is because certain businesses or certain systems are already working smoothly and they are unsure or uncertain on how consistent the new technology will be. So they will want to probably try it out or see other people utilize it and see the benefits to those organizations. So as with other technologies that we've had or we've seen in recent years, delay in technology adoption is part of the challenges that you face with the blockchain technology. As we all know today, banks and financial institutions are already rendering services around transactions and they already utilize the systems that they have in place. So based on that, it might be difficult for them to adopt the technology due to the complexity of understanding cryptography. And many organizations may also be hesitant to adopt the technology as consistency is not visible for them. Second point of concern is the lack of regulation. There seems to be a lack of regulatory oversight in the Bitcoin space today. As with many areas of technology in recent years, legislatures have largely failed to keep the pace with innovators who have been leveraging on the vulnerabilities of these new technologies for their own selfish or self-benefit. Currently, across the globe, there is uncertainty around the regulatory requirements related to blockchain applications. Additionally, there might be regulatory risk associated with each of these use and the type of participants in the network and whether the framework even allows for domestic or cross-border transactions. That is a major concern for inter-country transactions. Lastly, I would like to look into the exploitable vulnerabilities that we could pick up. One reference I'm making to is key management. Now, it seems to be impossible to have the needed computing power or program to run on multiple nodes at the same time. But users cannot be certain that these capabilities will be attainable in the near future. Now, that happens to be one of the most good, strong security benefits for blockchain because it's assumed that for you to break into the chain of the blocks, you would need computing power that will run on multiple nodes at the same time and be able to break each of these nodes at the same time. At this point, it seems to be impossible to have that. Now, considering the assured integrity of this blockchain and cryptography, one would expect that it is totally unbreakable. However, cryptography is only as secure as long as the keys for decryption stays secured. Furthermore, blockchain technology may seem too early to adequately ascertain the level of vulnerability it presents. However, some concerns include complexity in nature, business continuity risk, and also blockchain network differentiation. Thank you very much for listening. I would now be handing over to Hope, who should be taking us on artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hope. Hope Williams, and I will discuss the topics of AI and secure DevOps. So let's get started. What is AI? So a basic definition of AI is feeding computer data, and then that computer performs some type of algorithm on it and then analyzes that data, and then that computer performs that task specified for it. So take example, Siri for Apple or Alexa for Amazon. Those show like the transformation of artificial intelligence, machine learning, machine behavior. It shows how, smart the technology has become over the last 5 decades. So quick history lesson on AI. So in the early 1960s, the United States government began funding additional research for agencies such as DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. However, it kind of went to a halt or a stop because there wasn't enough, computing power to get to the point where we are now. So fast forward to now, AI is completely everywhere. So with the ability to kind of collect large amounts of data and process it faster than any human, AI is basically prevalent everywhere in IT, financial industries, marketing industries, and healthcare industries. So that was a quick history lesson. So DARPA was funded by the United States government and started doing research on machine learning, machine behavior, but was kind of stopped because they didn't have enough computing power. So let's get into how AI can be used to prevent threats and vulnerabilities. So the security team nowadays are tasked with so many things. They are trying to learn new tools that have been implemented by leadership. They're reviewing alerts. They're determining why they're even receiving these alerts. They are determining if they need to know how to resolve them, or even if they have the experience to resolve them. So an AI solution that has been produced by IBM is called IBM Q Radar, which can help prevent threats and vulnerabilities by automatically finding incidents and determining if those should be considered threats. So basically, it helps prevent threats or alert the security teams of threats. So it's a really cool solution. I would definitely recommend to do some more research on that if that's something you are interested in learning more about, because it frees up time from that security team to promote more transformational efforts to expand the organization. So the security team with an AI solution like IBM Q Radar can make fast decisions that will reduce the time needed to detect and needed to respond. So we kind of just talked about how AI can be used to prevent vulnerabilities and threats through a solution called IBM Q Radar. Now we'll talk about how that same technology can be used to initiate attacks. So common security threats like phishing, hacking into user accounts, and data breaches can be amplified when AI is added. So with the implementation of machine learning, an adversary can monitor and learn user habits and internet traffic to easily predict passwords and security questions. So hackers could potentially collect millions of data sets in a shorter period of time to identify weaknesses in an environment and potentially develop malicious code to enter in an environment. So a good thing to note is as technology improves to help prevent these vulnerabilities and threats, organizations need to be aware that these adversaries are using that same technology to attack their environment. Outside of how AI can be used to initiate attacks, other concerns related to AI are around privacy, security, and then ethical implications. So the first topic we'll talk about is privacy. So if you think about AI can collect and store data about a user's habit, locations, and interests. For example, when I'm shopping online for shoes at DSW and decide not to purchase them, just an example, sometimes I always seem to purchase shoes, and then I navigate to a social media site like Facebook, I start seeing advertisements for shoes on my timeline. This is not a coincidence. This is the use of machine learning to track individuals' users' habits. Users need to be aware of, data privacy issues when logging on to any website and when using any type of smart device. We need to start, really reading those user agreements to be aware of what data is being collected, why it's being collected, and where it's being used. So we do have privacy laws that are specified, specific to industries. So we have HIPAA, Privacy Act, and the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. But on a larger scale, the European Union has their GDPR, which is something that potentially the United States needs to take action on to protect the privacy of users. So going into the next topic, which I'm going to blend together, which is security and ethical concerns, because we kind of talked about cybersecurity of, how we can prevent it, vulnerabilities and threats, and then how that same technology can be used to initiate attacks. So AI can bring up a lot of cybersecurity concerns on an organization level and a national level. AI can be used to enhance the number of cyber attacks, and it can be used to improve the success rates of the attacks. So the numbers that we received from Symantec's 2018 Internet Security Threat Report reveals that, target attacks continue to expand. I think it increased by 600%, and malware implants have grown by 200%, and mobile malware increased by 54%. So those are some of the cybersecurity concerns, because as those attack vectors increase, we got to be concerned on how AI is used to kind of get into those, those gaps and vulnerabilities. So leaders like Elon Musk, everyone is familiar with Elon Musk, has supported the regulation of AI to prevent, exploitation of this technology. So exploiting this technology, AI, is potentially, weaponizing it and creating, new and more advanced hacking methods, and then misusing the technology for social control. And on the ethical pillar of this, so think about it this way. AI, well, as of right now, AI cannot replicate moral, psychological, and human behavior. There'll need to be a fine line between, the information that is provided to an AI solution and human judgment. So people are concerned that AI is going to be taking away manual jobs. So where's the moral compass when you're trying to do something like, autonomous vehicles? So truck driving positions may be taken over by AI, autonomous vehicles that don't need a driver inside the car. So if that vehicle strikes a pedestrian, who's at fault? So can't really blame a vehicle. It's a robot. It's a machine. Who do you blame? Who will take ownership of that? So if a human was in that situation rather than a smart vehicle, the human would have would take the blame for it. And if that vehicle, the smart vehicle, autonomous vehicle, keeps driving after it hits someone, doesn't know, thinks it's a speed bump or something like that, does it have the ability to stop to know that, hey, I hit something, let me just stay at the location? So a human has that ability to make that choice So that's kind of something we need to think about too. So cybersecurity concerns. So you have to really think about, like, with the advancement of this technology, the growth of these threats around, hacking, other incidents that may occur will grow as well. And when we are replacing, a lot of manual jobs with AI, we have to realize that, what's that line between, an AI robot or whatever making a decision and a human. So those are things that are concerning when the technology is getting more and more complex and advanced. So with AI, I discussed, what is AI? I kind of gave you a brief history lesson on AI, brought up DARPA. I talked about IBM Q Radar and how it can prevent vulnerabilities and security threats. I talked about how AI solutions can be used to initiate attacks. I briefly spoke about security concerns, privacy, and ethical concerns. So it's good to kind of do your own research on these topics because it's a lot of information. And this is just one pillar of emerging technology. So you have to think too that with this, you have to consider the cloud, because the cloud is going to basically be its platform for AI too. So as you're viewing this presentation, take the time to fully just see how everything, all the emerging technologies we're talking about connect. So AI, blockchain, and cloud, they all are related. They're all some type of emerging technology that feed upon each other. So it's a good thing to, as you read the paper, as you view this presentation, just think about those things in your head. So I talked a lot about AI. So now let's get to our second topic of secure DevOps. So what is SecDevOps? That's kind of the slang word for it. So secure DevOps, SecDevOps, security, development, and operations, just bringing all those pieces together. So so just gonna rewind 5 seconds. So organizations are moving away from this waterfall project implementation method and moving towards a more agile methodology. So agile methodology removes the lengthy planning stage and begins to introduce quick segments of development and then reviewing those. And at each of those phases, each of those segments, that's where security needs to be added. So you can't move on. The team cannot move to that next segment, that next phase, until it's approved by security. That is SecDevOps. Forgot to change the slide. So the framework of SecDevOps falls, in line with, the basics. So people, processes, and tools. So those three things can make or break an organization. For SecDevOps to be successful, an organization must combine those three areas. So process, people, and tools. SecDevOps will consist of people that are developers, testers, security analysts, and they all must work cohesively together throughout this entire project implementation process. A feature, like I said before, cannot be approved until a security analyst has verified its compliance in accordance to the security standards that are in place. So the team needs to be sound, and they need to have realistic expectations, and each role needs to be clearly defined. So, and the tools that are implemented for secure DevOps to kind of smooth out that process need to complement it. So you can't have an antiquated tool when you're doing these quick sprints, and you need people to be, everyone needs to be on the same page at the same time. So you need to have a tool that provides the convenience of automation, and it needs to be on a unified platform that has some type of continuous integration. So a great use case for this is Leidos. So Leidos is a leader in IT industries. They support customers in the defense, intelligence, civilian, health markets, and they have their own SecDevOps program that focuses on, guess what? People, processes, and tools. And they have a team that is skilled with what kind of team? Development people, engineering folks, operations folks, and security. So the team must be capable of implementing that process, and basically the process must focus on reducing deployment and testing time, and they need to be able to integrate all those tools into a seamless process, which is repeatable and automated. So this program at Leidos has proven itself successful, and I would definitely look into it if you wanted to learn some more information about SecDevOps. So they've been able to eliminate downtime with implementation, provide a secure and hardened environment, and reduce the process for ATO. So that's authority to operate as you're moving to potentially, the cloud or anything like that. So it's also decreased costs. So it's good to learn more about that. And if you haven't already, I would definitely recommend getting this book. So this is a really fun book. It's called the Phoenix Project. And it kind of goes into, DevOps and kind of the process. So would definitely recommend reading a book like this if you're interested in learning more of how to implement a more cohesive process at your organization. But I've talked about AI. I've talked kind of quickly about SecDevOps, and kind of just touch the surface on a lot of these topics. But I would definitely recommend to do your own research, talk to people, understand these use cases, research your own use cases, and see if this is something that you would like to fit in your organization. Our next topic, it's going to be led by Vince. He's going to talk about more RMF tools. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and hope you learned something. Bye.
Cybersecurity tools and frameworks, RMF tools. Risk management framework allows organizations to track and implement security controls required to manage risks, securing networks and systems. It also serves as a framework built around governing regulations and enables leaders to assess and manage risk at an acceptable level. If laws such as GDPR were to be implemented in the United States, the affected company would have 72 hours to notify the appropriate data protection agency and affected individuals without undue delay. Therefore, it is extremely important that all organizations dealing with private and financial data at a minimum should implement some sort of RMF. RMF technologies, as organizations modernize their architecture and systems based on the availability of emerging technologies such as cloud, blockchain, and AI, it is imperative to have an established baseline beforehand to better understand the health of their network. Migrating to the cloud could be misleading for most organizations, especially when security is a concern. Although data is stored away physically, whether outsourced or not, it is still vulnerable to hacks and data breaches. Blockchain brings more good in helping organizations secure networks, especially when IoT and dynamic subsystems are involved. Cybersecurity experts are excited about the many uses blockchain can bring in managing RMF for organizations. However, there are trade-offs such as risks concerning future quantum attacks and lack of regulations of blockchain products and services. AI also brings benefits for organizations seeking a robust RMF. AI can assist organizations by analyzing, assessing, and monitoring risks, and it is capable of scanning audits and reports. Before organizations can even consider implementing emerging technology, they should consider investing into existing automated risk management tools. TELUS offers a solution called Exacta, which manages the RMF process and enables organizations to flex when regulations and cyber threats evolve. It allows organizations to meticulously manage and implement security controls outlined in accordance with the NIST 853 and other regulations. It also helps prepare and meet compliance with regulations such as ISO, COBIT, PCI DSS, GLBA, GDPR, and HIPAA. Exacta can also assist with accreditation of new and emerging technology introduced to an organization's enterprise. The Exacta Risk Management Suite enables organizations to track the security state of a wide range of information systems on an ongoing basis and maintain their security authorization over time. Its elements work together to provide CISOs and other senior leaders with a dynamic view of the current status of security controls. The tool also offers an RMF cloud solution as organizations migrate and decommission legacy systems. Once Exacta is fully implemented, it is fully capable of assessing the impacts of new technologies based on their current state or baseline. Whether it is blockchain-based transaction system or the incorporation of IoT devices, through Exacta, cybersecurity professionals could complete an accreditation for these systems before and after new and emerging technology is introduced into the organization's network, thus securing and modernizing networks with minimal risk and low cost. In summary, organizations must consider the future of cybersecurity and how they can prepare for future threats when leveraging advanced technologies such as cloud, blockchain, and AI. Most organizations have become blinded from the advancement of such technologies. Leaders must consider the vulnerabilities and threats associated with them. Public and private sectors have experienced decades of cyber attacks and breaches, promoting small and large organizations to make cybersecurity as a top priority due to past financial losses resulting in business failures and lawsuits. Tools and processes such as Secure DevOps and Exacta are key to achieving cybersecurity goals and initiatives, especially when modernizing systems and networks. Therefore, it is extremely important for executives, senior leadership, to apply security especially when modernizing and upgrading their systems. Thank you.